Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining today's webinar, Safe, Healthy Hands, brought to you by Charlotte Products. My name is Rachel Sinistro, and I'm a Customer and Audience Solutions Manager with Informa Markets. Before we start today's webinar, I wanted to remind everyone that this is being recorded, and you will be able to access the video on the ISSA show website under the Webinars tab within the On Demand section. We have another webinar coming up on May 12th, so be sure to sign up for that one as soon as the registration opens next week. Without further ado, I would like to introduce Jim Fleeler, the Vice President of Sales of North America for Charlotte Products. He is an industry expert coupled with a high level of enthusiasm, integrity, and common sense. These traits have made him a renowned speaker and trainer for local businesses, key regional players, and national corporations across North America. He has over 40 years of expertise in all areas of sanitation in various market segments and job disciplines. Jim is a frequent trainer for organizations across North America, educating employees on cleaning related and sanitation issues. Please help me welcome Mr. Jim Fleeler.
Thank you very much, Rachel. That's very kind of you to say those words. I'd like to welcome everybody and thank you for attending. We really appreciate the being able to pass along some industry education that'll assist you and your people and customers and custodial staff, janitorial staff and things with really achieving cleaner, safe spaces. It's remiss to say that we've been in a whirlwind for the past several years. We don't believe that there's going to be major changes in the virus and pathogens and bacteria issues moving forward. In fact, this probably will help us identify faster and become more innovative as an industry in general there. But, you know, it just doesn't end once we're post-COVID now, but it just doesn't end there, right? History repeats itself as far as viruses and health risks and threats and things like that, and it won't be long, probably. I don't want to be really the down person here, but it won't be long before another virus of some sort or another type of bacteria or pathogen shows. And, so really we know they'll be back and we'll need to, we'll have increased challenges. Then we'll actually have to register and reformulate new disinfectants and things like that going forward in delivery methods, just as we did for COVID there. So really the bottom line is there, don't stop, don't just think it's over today. We have to really move forward with it there. As a reminder, our position at Charlotte is to really safely remove organic matter and then sparingly, carefully, and thoughtfully, disinfect and sanitize those high risk, high contact surfaces. We just really don't believe in the overuse or improper use of aggressive chemistry and formulations there. The cleaning process has served us well over the years. It's just not all about the product. It's about the people who come along and the process that apply to the particular type of facility and the risk that you have there. Adapting that product, the correct product that addresses the pathogen risk. I mean, that's really what it's all about, right? Establishing that proper cleaning process. I mean, that's really what you need to do and you'll have a positive end result. So since COVID, there's been a rise in the need for improved cleaning processes and cleaning protocol. No longer can we as a world provide subpar cleaning in public facilities. The customers actually and visitors and occupants and children demand better. We're under the microscope in our world, whether it be social media or the people demand or whatever. You can get any amount of information from webinars such as this that can really bring you up to speed to protect yourselves. So now more than ever, I mean, there's no excuse for not having that amount of information there. No matter what type of business, no matter what class of trade or what you're in there, people expect better. They expect cleaner, safer spaces. The longevity of your business actually relies on it, and we must provide the best possible service or customers will go somewhere else, right? If you're a hotel or a motel, if you're a restaurant, if you're any kind of business whatsoever, washrooms, public washrooms and things like that, people will prejudge your whole entire facility based on a couple of specific areas. If you have dirty cutlery, old tired cutlery, if you have linens that aren't as white as they used to be, if you have glassware that isn't as shiny and spot free as it used to be, if you have washrooms that have foul odors, a visible drain blockage, stains from hard water, rust, things like that, old fixtures, people will judge you. And, our industry is all about cleaning those particular surfaces, coming up with solutions for you. And us at Charlotte, we really take pride in that, right? Air quality is a huge issue. Purifiers, air purifiers, HVAC systems, those types of things. I mean, they're very popular today. Disinfecting and sanitation processes, clean, unstained carpet, clean floors today, not as necessarily the high gloss gleaming floors, but clean satin to shiny floors is paramount. People will judge you there. Odor management and of course hand hygiene, are all areas of judgment. If you've got old tired hand hygiene programs on your washroom walls and your facility walls and things like that, and they're bulk filling things, listen, now's the time to make a change. And that's really what we're going to talk about today. So we'll continue to educate our industry, and we'll be available for guidance within your specific facility, whether it's hands-on or virtual or whatever. Thanks for joining us today. We're excited and look forward to speaking to you at both ISSA events in 2022. We'll be in attendance in the Chicago and speaking in Chicago, as a matter of fact, and also in the Canadian ISSA version in June, as a matter of fact. So we continue to stay invested in our industry, and we hope you do too, and don't be afraid to ask questions. So let's begin today's program. So obviously it's about safe, healthy hands. And now, as I just said, is more important that you need a safe and effective hand hygiene program. Okay, so some opening remarks for you. Our industry is coming out of an unprecedented global health crisis, right? Hopefully it's coming out. I mean, there's all kinds of talk and things like that around the world and things, and there are still health risks and things, but for the most part, we are coming out of it, right? Manufacturers, distributors, investors, and people like us, either have or we're in the process of recognizing the need for positive change, right? We need improvement. We need innovation. That's key to any company moving forward, any business moving forward. New automobiles, new energy services, new cleaning programs, new chemistry, all of those particular things, right? Innovation, automation, analytics, validation, measurement, and employee wellness are all top priorities, right? And we must remain to focus on those if we're going to really be successful and really have cleaner, safer spaces, right? The impact on our environment and sustainability is being taken more seriously. It's just not about having a green product or biodegradable product or whatever it may be. It's what happens when whatever it is you're using, and in this case, we're talking chemistry and cleaners and degreasers and disinfectants. What happens when that's flushed down the drain? What happens when that goes to sewage discharge plants? What happens when it goes to your lakes, your streams, your rivers? What happens when it goes into the fields through septic systems and your livestock drink that water and things like that? Sustainability is really about taking care of our future today. And if you were going to focus on one area, that's a really good idea to focus on that, right? Reassessing and prioritizing the critical importance of facility sanitation overall. I mean, no longer can we be subpar, as I said earlier, right? Listening, reacting, and one of my favorite words here now, statements, is re-energizing our efforts will determine who survives and who thrives, right? And maybe who isn't here, as a matter of fact. So re-energizing our efforts is a key word and a key statement and learnings for today, right? Applying the 3 pillars of sustainability with your purchasing and your custodial facilities is paramount. And I'll talk a little bit more about those 3 pillars when we move along, because that's how us at Charlotte, that's how we innovate new products. There's three very key pillars there that will lead us all in the right direction if we follow them, and it's really good for us all. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about global diseases and viruses. Obviously, SARS-CoV-2 or COVID-19, that's been the dominant virus for the last 25 months or so. The science and healthcare facilities have been really focused steadfast on that. But we have to remain vigilant and be aware of the other forms of diseases, viruses, and pathogens. They have not gone away. Right? Influenza has not gone away. The flu has not gone away. HIV has not gone away, right? They may not be the top of the news, but there are ongoing threats. And I'll give you a couple of examples. Ebola is making a bit of a comeback, a little bit in the news and in the science world. Malaria, influenza, cholera, C. difficile, hepatitis, HIV, all of these and many, many more still exist. So don't lower our guard with hand hygiene or disinfecting and sanitizing. We just need to follow some basic, simple rules. And that's our advice here today. Just this week alone, there's been a severe acute hepatitis of unknown origin, right, in young children being investigated in Canada. As a matter of fact, adenovirus has been detected, and that could be the cause of it, but the science world is working on that now. But there's hundreds of cases across the globe, from the UK to the USA to Canada, where there's been one child death, and it seems to be in young children. And I'm not the expert on it, I can tell you that, but there's been multiple liver transplants absolutely required to save the life of young children. This is becoming a heightened concern. So as all of these things, they'll have their times when they come and they're more of a threat than others and things. But you know what? Good cleaning, removing organic matter, caringly, sparingly, thoughtfully applying the right product on the right surfaces and the right frequency will get you to the finish line in most cases. Okay. Industry insight. Daily hand washing has increased 250%. Right? That's a good thing, as a matter of fact. 86% of people are more conscious about germs than prior to our pandemic, as a matter of fact, right? Flu season, generally people wash their hands a little bit more. When you have a global threat or risk or virus or pathogen go widespread, we actually respond to it. But again, don't lower our guard, right? Don't stop washing your hands. I can say personal experiences from me. I'm in the washroom, and for the last 24 months, everybody washed their hands. I notice it now in public facilities, major public facilities, people are walking by the sink. Okay, now there are either walking by for two reasons, right? One, they're in an absolute hurry to get somewhere extremely fast and don't have time. Or two, they don't trust your sanitation levels in your facility. Right? Maybe you've got old fixtures, you've got still knobs that you touch, you've got a lot of buildup of lime and mold and mildew around your taps, maybe hard water stains. Well, you can't blame people for really not stopping and washing their hands there, because it's not a hygienic safe space and it could be a risk, right? 67% of the people now have a longer duration in washing their hands, right? Employee wellness, customer experience is a priority. We have customers across the globe that actually outfit their washrooms and the restrooms with our hand hygiene program that actually win the restroom awards for convenience, for the quality of the product, for the care of the patron, of the occupant, and things like that. And we're actually very proud of that, right? Nearly 4 in 5 or 79% of office workers believe no-touch fixtures are an important feature. You remember when I started in the industry, and some of you, most of you won't remember, but in the 80s, I can tell you, when you sold a hand dryer, that was a big sale. That was a big move for an education facility and things like that. And now, how do you justify a dryer versus paper towel and things, right? Now there's efficiencies in both towel and dryers, as a matter of fact. So really, it's a matter of analyzing what fits in your facility and what's best for your occupants and your objectives and things, and ask any one of us in the industry for that assistance. Okay, so no touch fixtures, soap, right? Water, urinal flushing, toilet flushing, door openings. That's just a few examples of the things that I could do. And if you haven't looked at those, you need to really revisit them, okay? People now more than ever, from an HR standpoint, are refusing to work in unsafe environments, right? Consumers, I mean, believe me, when their safety's at risk, they have choices, okay? So one example of lowering the risk of cross-contamination, and my whole message is here is, look, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. We do not have to come up with all of these great big new scientific approaches, because we've got a pretty good toolbox to start from here, right? So if you want to make an instant difference in your facility, in your workspace, at home or whatever, you don't have to go very far to just look at your cell phone. Okay, look at your employees' cell phones. Look at your custodial and janitors' walkie-talkies, their two-way radios, their pagers, all of those particular devices that they communicate with other people in the facility. If you actually did an ATP meter reading, which is adenosine triphosphate, that's really relative light units found in organic matter. It's a number system. The higher the number is, the higher the risk, or the better host area it is for viruses and that to grow. If you actually ran that test on any one of those devices, you would be shocked, and I mean shocked, as to how high the readings are and how unsanitary they are. We don't sanitize and disinfect these devices. In fact, we hardly even clean them. We talk them with our mouth and we're get a little bit of spit on there, bodily fluids, whatever it may be. Anything can transfer. And then we set that device down on a desk, on our workspace, next to our lunch, on our cleaning cart, on our auto scrubber, in the break room. It doesn't matter what it is. Okay. So, I mean, if I'm an HR department today, I'm going to establish a bit of a cleaning and sanitizing protocol for these types of devices, right? I mean, if you think about it, everything that is your hand touches is a form of cross-contamination in a facility, right? And if you're touching a phone and then transferring it and setting it down and doing whatever, it's the same thing. So establish those cleaning programs and protocols, tell your employees what you're doing, and improve their wellness, because these things are often overlooked, okay? Let's talk about manual or refillable dispensers. Okay, back to the soap program, the hand hygiene program, and there's all kinds of studies and things. I just threw a few on our presentation here today. But we all know, for the most part, that there are certain types of bacteria that will grow in refillable type dispensers. These are the dispensers that have a bulk a top that you can open and is exposed to the air. You can pour in a refill of a soap, whether it's thin or viscous or whatever it may be. And and what we do know is there are large numbers of bacteria that grow in there. And why is that? Really, the bulk open dispenser is not that bad as long as air doesn't get into it. But the problem is our custodial janitorial industry does not have a cleaning and disinfecting or sanitizing protocol. We'll put soap in there in 2000 and we're still adding soap and topping it up in 2022, right? You are going to get separation. You are going to get mold. You are going to get some sort of risk there. And if you've got contaminated soap coming out and you're washing your hands and you've got it on your hands, now you're spreading it throughout a facility. So these are things that you really need to look at, and it's easily remedied. And I've got that option for you here today, or that suggestion for you today. There is studies and things like that. And what we do know is that touch-free dispensers versus manual or refillable are generally used substantially higher amounts, from 25% up to about 40% more than manual hand dispensers. Okay, so what does that mean? The people trust you, your occupants trust you, they feel it's more hygienic, they'll actually use it, right? Then you need you not only do you need the dispenser, but you need the good quality soap that goes along with it, and the good quality alcohol hand sanitizer there. So really, that's a little bit about the manual and refillable dispensers, right? We have an answer for that, right? Understanding and acting on trends, because that's a big thing that we do. We listen very well to our customers. We're large enough to service anyone in the world, yet we're small enough to listen and react very quickly. I mean, there's been anxiety and turmoil and panic in the world. No one wants to touch anything anywhere, and I don't blame anybody for that. There's been an absolute rise in the importance of hand hygiene and alcohol hand sanitizers. And when there were shortages, when we had COVID, any type of alcohol hand sanitizer came to the market, whether that tequila smelling, it had petroleum distillates, you name it, it had in there. And you have to remember, and this is an important thing for you when you're selecting hand hygiene, is everything that touches your skin is pretty well absorbed into your body. Right. So if you've got nasty, unsafe, aggressive chemistry and nasty formulations with bad ingredients, that will absorb in your skin. Right. And it could cause a health risk that way. Right. There was a multitude of those distilleries that came to market. And hey, that was great. Right. That got us through and that assisted us. But it was, in most part, some of them were very inferior. They had lots of recalls. Again, anything touches your body, your skin is absorbed. And a lot of those have obviously been they've lost their license for that. But it was a temporary fix, and away we go. The whole entire market, including ourselves, had struggles with alcohol hand sanitizer supply, dispensing, cartridges, plastics, all of those kinds of things. Okay. But we cannot, one thing that we learned at Charlotte is we can no longer rely on out of country or offshore supply. Right. There will be another pandemic. There will be another virus that takes the world by surprise in future years, days, months, whatever it may be. So let's learn from that. And that's the most important part. Learn from that and move forward and have a proactive plan. Right. Freight issues, the price of gasoline, fuel, diesel fuel, the shortage of containers, the shortage of people to do this, the increased trucking costs, freight, all of those particular things. That's been another thing. Price increases. Substantial price increases. I remember going to customers and saying, I'm sorry, but I got to increase your price by 2% this year. Well, now we're going generally in the average is about 20, 22, 30%, 40%, whatever it may be. These are all things that we have to think as a community and really group together and come up with some exceptional solutions for it. And we've got one for hand hygiene, and that's what we're talking about today, right? We want to offer constant supply, local manufacturing, sustainable benefits, cost savings, and safer products. And I can tell you, we can guarantee you those results utilizing our specific program, right? What drives Charlotte? We have the value we bring to our partnerships, industry insights. In other words, we know what's going on. We listen extremely well to our customer. Who knows better than a customer? And distributors and things like that across the nation. We then have the innovation team within our house here that basically is a very talented group of people that not only understand what product we need and how to innovate, how to design and formulate, but then develop the program that goes along with it there. And then we have our sales team and our support team, guidance teams. They all have the experience and the knowledge to transfer that to our customers. And that's really been the lifeblood of Charlotte over these particular years. And really, what is an example of that? Our hand hygiene program, right? Soap companies sell soap, and I'm not putting any companies down that sell soap, by the way, but believe me, we sell safe, healthy hands. We lower the risk of cross-contamination and outbreak, and we include all of the elements of economic, environmental, and social benefits, providing clean, safe spaces. That we're extremely proud of, right? It's just not about a lime smelling soap that has bubbles and rinses okay or is a low price. It's really safe, healthy hands. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the evolution of hand hygiene. And there could be a few years here off. I've sort of put it fairly universal and widespread. But if you go back to 2800 BC, we talk about soap, and there's some humor in this for some of the people that have really been in the industry for a while. But there was a soap substance of some sort that was developed that had animal fats and vegetable oils and alkaline salt and ashes and things like that. And that was basically used as the first introduction of a bit of hand hygiene. If you took I guess you could take your fire pit and your outside fire or wood fire fire and some of the ashes and things, that would be some of the things that you would actually mix into it. Was it the best? Probably not. Was it better than nothing? Probably it was. Okay. And then in the 1800s, America, the soap making in Americas, that was the fastest growing industry, as a matter of fact, right? Then in the 1900s, there was a liquid soap, and I say a format of liquid soap. I'm not quite sure what the quality was there, but that was really designed to prevent disease in World War I. Right. Then in the 1960s, we had a powdered hand soap come along, where people had powder and it was in dispensers or it was in a free pour box, and you would use that, right? You would use that even on garage floors, cleaning concrete, all of those things. And I mean, that was a form in the 60s. In the 70s, we had bar soap. Right. And I mean, we used to sell truckloads of bar soap, by the way, to school boards and colleges and universities and malls and factories and things. And I mean, and we had basic liquid soap and things like that. Imagine trying to sell a bar of soap today in a public facility. People wouldn't go. I'll tell you, nobody wants to touch a bar of soap in a public facility. That was in the 70s. In the 80s, we had bulk fill lotion soap and dispensing. And also in the 80s, we had bag in a box and some of the first dispensers there, bag in a box and a little sealed cartridge there. 90s, we had alcohol hand sanitizer. We had cartridge systems. In the 2000s, Eco Logo came along and proprietary soap systems came along. In really the 2010s, we had some touchless dispensing and things. And but really, there hasn't been a lot of advancements until 2022. And what we're really proud to talk to you about today is we are fast launching very soon our USDA certified all organic soap in 2022. And that is amazing. If you think of the food industry, and I mean, everything is derived around safety and digestion and human absorption and things like that. If we actually tie that in and marry it with our soap hand hygiene programs and certify that it's organic, that's a better thing for you. Okay, so introducing our new proprietary hand hygiene program. I mean, first things first, ample supply. We invested in our own production facility. We invested in blow molding our own cartridges in-house, right? In our production facility. No more relying on anybody out of state, out of country, out of province, overseas, okay? We're in control of that destiny. We're price competitive with absolutely any tier 1 brand in North America. It doesn't matter who it is, we're there, okay? If you're a distribution house, you've got a margin enhancing opportunity because there's less competition. If you take some of the tier 1 brands, there could be hundreds and hundreds of distributors and competitors right across town. Okay, and we're very select on who we put on with our Enviro Solutions and our Serve Clean brand. Okay, so you've got marketplace differentiation. You've got our leading brands, which is Enviro Solutions and Serve Clean, and Serve Clean is generally used for food service, right? I've talked about coming soon, and it's not that far away. So I'm told that it's in the very, very near future. And first to market is in a commercial space is USDA certified organic foam soap at the same exact price as our traditional brands. So I'll revisit that a little later in the program. It achieves the 3 pillars of sustainability, which I'll talk about. It has a solid go-to-market strategy. You've got higher product yield packaging that actually puts about 25% more product on the wall available for everybody to wash their hands. And also our case packaging is double the yield of tier 1 brands. So we'll instead of having 3 cartridges at 1,000 mils or 1.2 in a case, we'll actually have 6 1,250 mil or 42.5 ounce containers, which actually, if you ship 1 case of a tier 1 brand and you ship 1 case of ours, you're going to reduce your freight cost by 50%. And you take into account all the pressures in the freight industry these days. Manufactured, really the bottom line, in North America for companies wanting to do business with North American companies, right? Logistics, 1 dispenser fits all. Choice of 1 soap and 1 alcohol hand sanitizer. There's more in the line, believe me, but you either want foam or you want gel, and that's in soap or alcohol hand sanitizer. So we can really get you to 2 SKUs and one dispenser, so 3 SKUs. Think about logistically what that does for you. Here's the lineup here, okay? ES41, that's our all organic USDA certified product there. No scent, no fragrance. Very, very, very good quality. And I'll talk about pricing in a second. Secondly, with the hand soap, you either want to have a scented foaming hand soap or you want to have an unscented. That really depends on your facility. Eco logo certified for sure. Depends. Do you want a fragrance or do you not? Food service, you probably wouldn't, you know, obviously, but in the janitorial, occupational spaces and things like that, you probably would. Okay. On the hand sanitizer, it's a very good quality foaming hand sanitizer, or it's an actual gel, right? Really depends on your facility. Which one do you like? And you can notice that's Enviro Solutions brand. What we've got is we've also got our Serve Clean brand, right? Same formulations, by the way, branded more specific to food, to restaurant, to food service processing facilities and things like that. It's got a nice clean image, a nice clean brand, and it's really the right thing to put in a food establishment of any sort. Okay, so we've kept it very, very simple. One size cartridge, one dispenser, and that's it. Okay, not all these different sizes and different dispensers and things like that. Okay, we've invested in a new HAZLOC room in our production facility. That's a self-contained room that's kept the clean room standards, by the way, explosion protection. We've got our alcohol. You can see the tank outside the building. The scale doesn't, I mean, that thing's probably 50 feet tall or something. And I mean, we've invested in that to make sure we've got the right standards for North America. There's a shot, one little shot of the blow molding production facility, which is right on the same street as our main Charlotte production plant. And not only does this plant manufacture our 1250 or 42 ounce plastic soap cartridges, but we've also learnings from COVID and the shortages and the hiccups there. We're developing our 946 or our quart bottle. We're developing our 2 liter or half-gallon bottle for our concentrates. We're manufacturing our 4.73 liter or our 1.25 liter bottle for concentrates, and we're also manufacturing our gallon bottle, which is 3.78 liter or a gallon US. Right? We are in control of our own destiny. We're not relying and shipping plastics down the road. We're making sure we're manufacturing them in site. So what have we done? What have we learned? These are a couple of great examples, right? Let's talk about USDA certified organic. What is it? It means that basically 95% of your ingredients have to be certified organic, right? And not only that, but your facility also has to be certified. We've taken and invested in that, right? Some people have asked us why there's no Canadian organic, council or certification. Well, they don't have, they really don't have the, they haven't added those programs to their certification yet, but we're told that they're actually looking at it and probably will. So we'll get that as well. But right now, USDA is generally registered or recognized as the leading brand. Okay. The proprietary hand dispenser benefits. I mean, safe, healthy hands is our tagline. It's very simple. There isn't anybody that doesn't want that, right? Okay. Touch-free dispensers lowers the risk of cross-contamination. You do not have to touch anything. If your restrooms have touchless faucets, you do not have to touch a thing. That will automatically reduce the risk of cross-contamination in your facility, right? Okay, ADA compliant, compact footprint, easy cartridge change, LED light indicating low battery life. You've got exceptional life out of the batteries there. You've got a large visual sight window that'll actually reduce the time your janitors and custodians need to monitor the level of it there. And there is an optional floor stand, an optional counter display there, and a drip tray, which we recommend for alcohol hand sanitizer, because some of that, if it drips on floors with a high shine, a lot of polymer coatings, it can actually bite into that. Okay, but really, I want to give you a perfect example as to why you would surround yourself with this program. And we really, I mentioned it earlier, following the 3 pillars of sustainability. And that's, it's got to have an economic model, it's got to have an environmental model, and it's got to have a social model. So let's take a few minutes and review that. Okay. Number 1, economically, we know you cannot afford this program if it costs substantially more. Okay, we know that, right? We know we will be absolutely extremely competitive and produce solid savings with comparable tier 1 brands. Okay, touchless systems, by the way, cost more than a manual system, right? You need to be able to understand that and invest, because the benefits of a touchless system far outweigh manual systems. So be prepared to that. But I mean, we'll take you, we'll guarantee you savings there. Touchless, tier 1, every single time, right? That USDA organic certified, that's coming very soon. And let's just spend a minute on that. If you go to the grocery store and you see a traditional chicken, and just for money wise comparison, I'll say that chicken is $10, right? Now, in the same cooler, separated, obviously, you'll see a certified organic chicken. Now, that chicken may be $20, maybe $15. Now, you know the organic chicken is better for you. In fact, you want the organic chicken. The problem is you can't afford the organic chicken, right? You know, so our marketing strategy is here. It's very simple. We are going to offer you USDA certified organic foaming soap at the traditional price of our unscented or foaming soap, period. So what in a nutshell that is, you go to the store, you see the traditional chicken for $10, you're going to see the USDA certified chicken for $10. Okay, that's our play, right? And we'll just tell you that right now. You know, now, which one are you going to choose? We know exactly which one you're going to choose, right? Form formulations generally are 50% better savings, more economical, less usage, as a matter of fact, over bulk. So keep that in mind. Our cartridge yield is larger. It's generally 25% more product for sure compared with most. Some it isn't, some it's actually more. You know, what does that do? More product on the wall, labor savings, less time to change out. That labor, remember, is 90% of your overall spend in a facility. Less than 10% is your cost of supplies, right? The larger case count, you got 6 bottles in a case on our touchless system. That generally compares with a 50% savings over other tier 1 brands, right? So 50% reduction in freight, 50% reduction in handling, 50% reduction in warehousing, logistics, wear and tear on the roads, VOCs, the atmosphere, air quality, people. That's a great thing. And if that was the only reason to consider this, that would be my one example as to why you would do it. Okay. You get 100% use of the 1250 mil cartridge, and then you've got the touchless dispensers with batteries. I think that's a pretty good economic model, right, that you follow. Let's go to the environment, right? Okay. We can reduce with that higher yield and less packaging and casing and things. We can actually reduce your plastics and corrugate in the landfill by about 25%. You know, that's a good thing for us all. We can't just, once you dispose of something, it just doesn't magically go away or flush down the drain. It has to go somewhere. Let's create and take care of our planet in a much better way than we have, right? The larger case count is an example of that. Less packaging required. You've got a sustainable supply chain because we're manufacturing the cartridges and we're manufacturing the alcohol hand sanitizer and the soap in-house. Right. And of course, you've got recycled and recyclable packaging, right? So environmental, sustainability wise, I think we've hit the mark. From a social standpoint, we want to promote safe, healthy hands. We want to improve employee wellness. We want to improve employee retention these days. We want to give you certified organic soap, right? That is the right thing to do. We want to lower the risk of that infection. We want to make sure we're touchless operation for the majority of people and facilities out there. We want to reduce the spread, and we really want to create clean, safe spaces. So socially, tell your employees, tell your children, tell your grandparents, tell the occupants of your building, tell your building service contractors what you're doing for them, because now more than ever, that is critical. Okay, so 3 pillars of sustainability. In fact, we designed this template. It's in everything we do, from product innovation and sales and marketing strategies. Okay, let's talk about facility and employee return on investment. Everyone washes their hands. Employers need to provide the best hand hygiene protection that assists with that retention and absenteeism. Absenteeism is a big thing. If you give someone a subpar soap to use, they're going to use it at best when they absolutely need to. If you give them a good experience at the sink in the restroom and things like that with hand washing and hand sanitizer, guess what? They're going to use it. What is the purpose of hand hygiene? It is to actually lower the risk of cross-contamination and improve wellness for employees, right? It's not about just giving them something that has a few bubbles and away you go. Taking care of your skin, stopping absorption of pathogens and disease and viruses in your body, all of those things, right? You know, HR departments, they need to work along with the custodial janitorial teams and really advertise to their employee, do encouragement posters. What's in it for me? Why should I wash my hands? Well, give me a couple of stats on an awareness poster, not just how to wash my hands and the procedures and sing happy birthday a couple of times and all of those, but I mean, really, tell me what's in it for me, and also take into account my home life. If I'm a cleaning staff member, janitor, or custodian, I touch almost everything in a facility, and then I take it home, right? Let's improve that. Let's help people, right? You know, facilities, union, obviously, big message there, non-union, education sector, food production, restaurants, building service contractors, government, property management, manufacturing facilities, right? And really North American companies that have a desire to do business with North American companies, okay? Some of our resources, we have in-facility assistance, and we have virtual sales presentations for any kind of decision maker, right? Trial samples, things like that available, just touch base with us, right? We've got real people with real solutions to walk you through the whole entire process from A to Z or A to Z, whichever way you want to pronounce it, right? Co-branded, customized material, educational webinars such as this, and videos explaining how to install it on drywall, how to install it on mirror and glass, how to change your batteries, how to actually know how to change the cartridge, the out-of-box experience, all of those specific things, right? There's ongoing media posts, there's ongoing and informative frequent blogs, there's bilingual marketing literature, there's specific hand hygiene program on the Charlotte website, which is everything you need from the product to the description to the SDS sheets to the dispensing, all of those kinds of things. So really, just an absolute stellar resource for you. Okay, there's some examples of some of the things, right down to what does USDA certified organic mean, right? Let's talk about the soap. Let's talk about how to wash your hands, all of those types of things. Okay, and then also video resources. There's just an example of a couple of them here. There's some here that are 2 minutes in length, and I think the maximum one is about 8 minutes in length, so it doesn't tie up your day or an hour-long presentation or whatever it may be. So with that being said, that concludes the portion of that. I think I've got a few questions here and there that I'll actually respond to now. And is there a warranty on the dispensers for in your soap program? Yes, there is. It's a 12-month standard program warranty, providing there's no vandalism. We'll assess that if you're having any kind of issues with replacement or performance or something that you're not up to satisfied with. We'll come good and we'll work with your facility and make sure that you're happy. We want to make it easy to do business with us. Easy, right? Not difficult. So we're very approachable if it comes to that. Now, if it's vandalism and you've got the size 13 work boot taking it off the wall, you've got a bit of another problem, and maybe we can assess that as well. Okay. The next question is, can you explain the difference between Serve Clean and Enviro Solutions? Enviro Solutions is our world leading brand of certified products that perform, that have the best intentions of sustainability, environmental protection in mind, that are safer, and that brand is really designed around the custodial janitorial marketplace. And it's been around actually since 1992, long before a blue box was even thought of, as a matter of fact, and brought to the streets in residential communities. Okay. And then we have our Serve Clean brand, which is our food service line, right? So if you have a restaurant, a food processing facility, a fast food area, whatever, anything where you're doing dishes, you're doing, food prep, heating, processing, whatever it may be, that's our non-scented, no fragrance, no dye, Serve Clean line that really is designed to be placed in those types of environments there. So that's hopefully that describes the difference. And I mean, and it really depends on which brand best suits you, and you can select from there. Another question here is, I guess, is will you be sending a copy of the presentation after? I do believe, yes, ISSA will publish it. It will also be on the charlotteproducts.com website. As far as that goes, you can reach, all of our contact information is on there. I welcome you to contact any single one of us across the globe, right from anybody involved right up to our CEO. We're all very approachable. We're just real people that really want to help you. Okay, so with that being said, I know we were between 45 minutes and an hour. I know time is precious these days. I think I've covered all of the points that you could possibly ever need when it comes to hand hygiene. Safe, healthy spaces is really what it's about. Education to assist you with lowering the risk of an outbreak. We will be there today and we'll be there tomorrow when it comes to really protecting you, protecting your workforce, protecting yourself against a disease and viruses and pathogens and health risks and things like that. So with that being said, on behalf of Charlotte Products, thank you, stay safe, and we'll talk to you in the near future. And don't forget, we'll be at the ISSA in Canada in June of 2022, and we'll also be in Chicago in the US in the fall of 2022. So we look forward to talking to you then. Thank you very much. Stay safe.